Children's Library. I am Cindy, and today I want to talk about the books that I have read for the first half of August. So, first of all, The Making of C.S. Lewis from Atheist to Apologist, 1918 to 1945 by Harry Lee Poe. This is the second book of a trilogy, and I did a full review of that. So I will link the full review down below. But the short version is I quite enjoyed it. I'm not sure if I would start with this series if you're just beginning to learn about C.S. Lewis, just because it is a trilogy and the last book isn't even out yet. But I quite enjoyed it. Quite a readable style. So there was that. And I finished two books for book groups that I was in this summer, both by Joy Clarkson. One is her regular summer book club, and that was Piranesi by Susanna Clark. Came out last fall. I've already read it, so this is a reread for me, but quite enjoyed it again. And I believe I have a full review of that, so I will link that below as well. And I also read Circle of Quiet by Madeleine L'Engle. It's the first of her bibliographic memoirs. She gets a little bit autobiographical, although not very. It's basically more exploring various ideas, and as they come up, or as a relevant life experience comes up, she shares that. The next one in the series, Summer of the Great Grandmother, is much more autobiographical, but still very interesting, some interesting ideas. I'm glad I reread it. I read this last summer as well. And that leaves just one more book for me to talk about. And let me look it up since I don't remember the author. And it is Aisha at Last, and still waiting on the author, but it is basically a retelling, loose retelling of Pride and Prejudice from the perspective of a girl who is Muslim. She's from India. Her family moved to Canada when she was relatively young. And that is, of course, our title character, Aisha. This is by Uzma Jala Ludin. I could have that last name wrong, but very interesting. Of course, there are all sorts of related characters. If Aisha is the Lizzie Bennet character, her younger cousin is kind of the Lydia character, and there is a Wickhamish character who comes into the area, and at first everyone thinks he's great. And of course there is the Darcy-esque character who is rather socially awkward and very orthodox, although he has some reasons for that. Very interesting, not only how she fit this into not only into a modern world, but into that specific milieu, but because it is a setting with mostly Muslims, it's interesting to see all of the different types of Muslim characters there are. There are some who are very strict, there are some who are more relaxed, there are some who are very, very good, and there are some who are not very good. So in a way, a picture of human nature overall, as is the original Pride and Prejudice anyway. But it's refreshing to see so many different perspectives in this community, and also fun to see the Pride and Prejudice plot there. You will cheer for Aisha and the Darcy-esque figure to get together finally. You will boo at Wickham appropriately when you figure out who he is. You will love but be frustrated by the Lydia-esque character. Very great, and it touches on some wider issues that are more modern as well, with Muslims fitting into the modern world, with the Muslim Hindu situation back in India, all sorts of things. So, very interesting. I'm glad I read this one. There is a second book that this author has written. I'm not sure if they're really connected, like another member of the Aisha's greater family, or if it's more just the same general Muslim community in Canada. But either way, if you are looking for a Pride and Prejudice retelling that is different, this definitely counts. And so you might be interested in this one. Anyway, that is all I have read for the first half of August. Love to hear how your August reading has been going so far. If you've found any new treasures, love to hear it. And so I think that's all that I have this time. Feel free to leave comments and such below. And as always, until next time, I hope we all stay healthy and safe, and happy reading!